Back now on Triad today, and finally getting a chance to meet in person someone I've wanted to meet for a long time, and she's been around. It seems like forever. She hasn't. She's new. She's not new. She knows this area. We're going to find out exactly all the confusion I just mentioned. Barbara Maida-Stolle, of course, President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. Welcome to Triad today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you know, you're into your second year, but you certainly weren't new to Goodwill, and you certainly weren't new to the Triad. Why?
So I'm not new to Goodwill. I spent 14 years in the Charlotte Goodwill. And before that, I was here in Winston-Salem for about 20 plus years. So I've been around for about 21 years in
Including
Winston.
starting your own tech company.
Stolle Technology.
That's interesting because it gives you a different perspective too, especially when you're dealing with workforce development, when you're dealing with helping people get jobs.
Absolutely.
You know from the other side.
I do. And obtaining work is one of the most important pieces of anyone's life.
Absolutely. Now, you came here in the midst of the pandemic and all of the challenges that it wrought. So my first question about this is, how do you assess that first year?
It was a brilliant year. It was a learning year, and it was a year of getting acclimated back into Winston-Salem. Having meetings via Zoom was a challenge, but it was very welcoming as well. The community has been very open to my return.
Did the COVID, and this might sound like a stupid question, did the pandemic and COVID have a significant impact on the way that you did business, the way that you helped people?
It did. It did. We were very nimble. We turned on a dime in one day, from providing in-person services to providing services virtually and meeting people where they are at.
Right. What would you, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
Sure.
let's talk about your vision for Goodwill, because you've,
Sure.
again, you've been in the system, you know the system. Now you're in a little bit different role, you coming out of the pandemic. What's your vision going forward for Goodwill?
So I mentioned a little bit of it, is meeting people where they're at. So not only team members, but participants as well. Be conscientious of being an employer of choice. Being conscientious around offering services both in person and virtually, and just being nimble to what the community needs.
Strategic goals. Maybe give me an example of a strategic goal that's important. Would it be partnerships with community colleges? Would it be partnerships with businesses? I mean, give me an example.
Sure. So partnerships with community colleges is one of our pillars of success for employment, for education and employment. That is one strategic goal. The other is employer of choice, and I mentioned that as well.
Right.
Being able to recruit, retain team members for our organization with the great resignation that everyone has experienced over the last year.
And you guys help scores of thousands of people get jobs, scores of thousands of people get retraining. And yet sometimes there's a disconnect because people say, hey, yeah, I've been to Goodwill, I've dropped off some items that I didn't need. There's a big connection between dropping off those items and the stores and the service.
Absolutely. So there is a story behind the store, and you just hit on it. So every donation that you donate, every piece of clothing, every piece of furniture gets sold in our stores. Those dollars then are provided for education and training for people to go back to work.
Absolutely. Well, look, we could spend forever talking about this. Let me put this up on screen. Goodwill, NWNC, stands for Northwest North Carolina.org. Please check that out. Barbara, don't be a stranger to the show.
I won't. Thank you so much, Jim.
All right, welcome back.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.